Hey guys, Mr. B here. Today I want to talk to you about science. Surprise, surprise. This thing called science, the object of what we want to understand, noeo, is a big idea. To start with, let's do a little thought experiment. What do you think of when you hear the word science? Maybe you think about dinosaurs, or airplanes, or very far away planets. Maybe you think about books and big words. Science could be involved in any of these, or our study or understanding of any of these things. But science is a bit more. Science can be thought of in two primary ways. First, science is what we know about the universe, and second, science is what we do to study the universe. Knowledge and know-how. To be a bit more specific, science is both the big body of knowledge we have about the natural world that continues to accumulate and get refined over time, get better, become more reliable, reflect reality better. And science is also the process that we use to discover creation, God's nature, His handiwork. And for older students and parents out there, the essence of this science process is the weighing of evidence, collected evidence, against a preconceived idea. Collected evidence we've observed against what we think or how we think something works. Think of the first aspect as a tremendous book that never stops being added to or being edited. The entries become more full and better reflect the universe and how it's been designed over time. And the second, as this creative way to understand why a puddle in Arizona disappears more quickly than one in the Canadian Arctic. We're going to be talking about the process of science more and more over the coming weeks. But today, let's introduce its virtues. Don't worry, we will also get to its weaknesses or limitations as well in coming weeks. Science virtue number 1. This is virtues of the process of science. Virtue 1, it is sensory based. In other words, it requires observations. Many observations. So unplug your ears, open your eyes, and stretch out your nose and pay attention. Science virtue number 2. It requires a special step to test your observations. Experimentation. Let's take our two puddles again. You think that the Arizona puddle disappeared more quickly because the reptiles were very thirsty and drank more water than the not so thirsty birds by the Arctic puddle. Your best friend disagrees. The two of you design a test. He grabs his sunglasses and heads to Saguaro National Park, and you grab your parka as you fly north to the Great Slave Lake. From a tent blind several yards away, you and your bestie observe two different puddles, day and night and day, until they finally disappear. You observe that the Arizona puddle indeed disappears more quickly, several days more quickly, in fact. But no lizards or snakes visited during this entire time. Your friend notes only a few gulls in the vicinity that visited his cold yet tranquil Canadian puddle, only briefly. Oofda! Is this an epic fail? No, not really. In fact, it's an epic win. And you harness the power of your senses and use them to observe. And then you design a reasonable way to test your observation. That is your preconceived idea. Now, in this case, the evidence conflicted with your preconceived idea or hypothesis. Remember the scale: evidence and hypothesis or preconceived idea. Evidence, watching the puddles, writing down the observations. Preconceived idea, the lizards are thirstier. This is great news. Getting your educated guess or speculation incorrect is never wrong or bad in science. It means you designed a good test and you learned something new. It turns out that there are a lot more factors that affect puddles than just thirsty critters. Depending on which Noeo course you're taking this year, you will be learning about some of those factors, including evaporation, temperature, humidity, and more. This is what science is all about, understanding the marvelous complexities of God's general revelation to us, His image bearers. It is a fun and creative process, and it's just one of the tools in our toolbox. Next time, we will explore more fully the purpose for doing good science as Christians and where science fits into our job description as God's image bearers. Keep in touch with us here at Noeo Science by following Canon Curriculum or visiting the Canon Press website at canonpress.com. Until next time, fellow explorers.